Hello, good day and blessings to all my divine beings. Love you all out there, out here connecting with a little bit of soul and earth. And this is actually going to be a remake of a video that I made this morning. I had actually just woken up. My father came by to visit for a little bit, so I just woke up and I was like, while I was outside, I was like, you know what, after he left, I'm going to record this video. But once I got out here and started recording, I quickly realized that I kept forgetting a bunch of the things that I'd wanted to say last night when I was planning on doing this video. I want to give a shout out to Brother Yusef for inspiring me to do this video. He was talking about different types of tree magic and the connection of trees with different types of magic and stuff. But blessings, I love you all. I want to go ahead and first get into the history of tree and plant magic and just let all of you guys know that plants and trees have been connected to spiritual practices and ceremonial acts since the beginning of humanity. As far back as we know, there have been plant ceremonies with psychoactive plants and even some non-psychoactive plants where we would come around the trees understanding that the trees were conscious living beings, and we knew that without them that life here could not exist like it is. Trees are said to be the lungs of the earth, so they breathe as we breathe, and our energies are the different ends of the different polarity of oxygen and carbon dioxide or monoxide, whichever one it is. I believe dioxide. But trees definitely are conscious beings, and they can help you in many, many different ways. Even as simple as coming and sitting under a tree and with your back to it if your energies are off, and it can help you cleanse and align your chakras to help heal you, and it's said in Buddhism that Buddha, attained enlightenment sitting under a tree. I believe it's called Bodhisattva tree or something like that. I can't remember 100% the name of the tree, but he was sitting under a tree. Also, Isaac Newton, when he was attaining enlightening, inventive ideas, he was said to be sitting under a tree with the apple that fell and stuff. But yeah, plants have been used in ceremony and spiritual practice since ancient time, all the way back to the soma drink, poppies, ayahuasca, cannabis, San Pedro, so many different plants that have been used ceremonially. And I also like to think of it as trees being Earth's natural cell phone towers. Like I guess the pyramids would be like the cloud or the base of all of them, but then the trees are almost like the individual cell phone towers, helping to transmit and balance the energies of consciousness here on Earth. Also, I can see the symbolism of like the universal cross or the circled cross that shows the earth and the four elements: balance, earth, air, fire, and water. And the cross being, the vertical tree going down into the roots, and then the horizontal of the earth itself. Within magic, you can definitely, because the subconscious mind is your powerhouse. It's where your power resides, and it is built as a symbol-based operating system. So the more symbolism you could add to ritual or your magical spells and stuff will enhance it tenfold, because it'll actually let it cross that great divide of the abyss from your conscious to subconscious mind to make it manifest as reality. The upper part of the tree would be considered the tree of life, or Kabbalah. And then the roots and everything beneath, which is much larger, would be considered the tree of knowledge, or the tree of Qliphoth, the underside, dark side of the Kabbalistic tree of life. There's so many plant teachers out here. I mentioned earlier, ayahuasca and San Pedro. Psilocybin mushrooms are a little different than plants, but they're very directly connected. Without those, who knows if there would even be any plants. But these teachers can help heal us from so many different things. Even kratom and cannabis, both of those help people with many neurological disorders, anxiety, depression, PTSD, so many different things, spiritual healing that can be done through these plant medicine ceremonies. And I think that it's very important for people to connect with these plants and to use these plant medicines to grow spiritually, mentally, physically, etherically, emotionally, energetically, all the above. Plant-based nutrition also, there's a big plant-based movement with people's diets, and I don't like to use diet because of the word die, but nutrition. With their nutritional choices, they're choosing a much more plant-based lifestyle, and within this, it makes a much more alkaline body, and it does keep you much more healthy to not eat heavy amounts of these dead animals. Not saying that eating animals is bad or that it blocks you spiritually, because we know, there's plenty of people that eat meat that are extremely spiritual and extremely awoke. It's all a choice, but I do know that the plant-based lifestyle does leave you with a much more light body. Your energy definitely raises when you eat a mostly plant-based lifestyle. Also, I think everyone should build their own apothecary at home and have their own collection of herbs that help with, healing any type of illness or sickness that they got going on. You got to understand, all the pharmaceutical medicines out there, other than synthetics, which are made out of, mostly chemicals and stuff that come from the earth, most of them come from plants. And what they do is, use other chemicals and acids and stuff and bases and different type of things to actually break down the plant matter and extract certain chemical compounds from the plants. I think it's really good idea to grow your own plants indoors and outdoors. Grow your own food. That is such a great way to tap into the spirit of the plant kingdom, the Devic kingdom. And it's a good way to be connected with Earth and understand that God is nature, and we are a part of nature. We need to understand we're not separate from nature. There's a really cool ritual that you can do for abundance or money and stuff, and that is, you can write out your petition, of course, of what you're wanting to be abundant in, or also you can just take change. So take actual money, and you can either put it in a potted plant indoors if you don't have anywhere outdoors you could plant it, if you live in the city or something. But the best thing to do is take it and plant it near the roots of the tree. Plant money around it with or without your petition. The more symbolism you put into it, the better, though, so the petition would definitely help. Plant those, and you'd want to plant them near an evergreen tree, something that lives year round, like a pine or something. And that way, that represents the abundance of life within the tree when it, doesn't die throughout the year. Of course, petitions. You can use petitions for any type of tree. There's many different tree correspondences, so each different tree has different energies and different type of magics that you can do with it. Today I'm just going to kind of tell you, today's Monday, the day of the moon, and on today, the tree for the moon the main one is willow. You got coconut, hazel, papaya. There's many other plants and stuff. Aloe, lotus, ginseng, almond, violet, all these plants and stuff that's connected to it. But the willow tree, there's like a main one that's definitely connected to the moon. So if you wanted to do a magic spell that connected with the energies of the moon, like intuition, clairvoyance, dream work, your emotions, your feelings, spiritual development, any type of self-gnosis, knowledge of self, any type of moon magic, connection with family and children, marriage, stuff like that, any type of growth, you could use that on the Monday at a willow tree. But so, you know, you can just research the different correspondences connected with each of the plants and trees, and you will understand which plants and stuff you can use to make oils, magical oils, tinctures, which different type of plants you can use to burn on charcoal discs to give you a certain type of energy and a magical spell, or which tree that you're actually going to do the magic with. Understand plants are conscious and God is nature, for sure. I know that I said this before. And you know, a lot of people believe that when Moses went to the mountain to talk to God and get the laws of the Ten Commandments and stuff, that it was a burning acacia bush that he was standing by, hearing the voice of God. And the acacia bush, we know now, is extremely full of DMT, very rich in it, and you know, DMT will definitely make you talk to God, that's for sure. I want to tell you about a couple of different studies that were actually done on plants and stuff to show exactly how conscious and alive that they truly are. They were using electrodes and stuff, connecting them to the plants, and also using different types of cameras and infrared type vision, heat vision, stuff like that, to look at the plants while they were studying it. And they realized that these plants were conscious. Whenever you would cut a leaf off or tear up part of the stem, or you would harm the plant, it would react extremely with electrical charges and with the different type of visual energies that they could pick up on with the infrared and stuff, showing that they could actually feel pain. And the plants are actually very connected to empathy and being empaths as well, because the plants that actually surrounded the other plants, when they would harm it, they would actually read off readings as if they were emitting pain, the same as if the plants that were actually being torn up. So it's showing there is some sort of communication going on between these plants that we can't see or hear or understand at this time, but we know that the communication is actually happening. There was one study this guy did that was absolutely beautiful, and he was studying trees, and he went and strapped recorders around the trees to see if they made sounds and stuff like that, and he did it over a large span of area. And he went back, and when he did, it blew his mind, because these trees were actually communicating, and they were doing, not only were they communicating, but they were actually making a drum beat that has been found all over different tribal communities all the way since ancient times. There's this one kind of universal tribal drum beat, which I'll beat it out on my chest whenever I end this video, just to give you an idea of what that drum beat sounded like. But it's very tribal in nature, and you'll definitely immediately recognize it as hearing it with different tribes playing the drums and stuff like that in ceremony. But he realized these trees were using the clicks and clacks of their movement from the wind of the tree actually bending the tree, and they were communicating with each other, and it even made music. I mean, this is like some beautiful, beautiful findings. And he even found that trees thousands of miles away from each other, because he did this study over a large area in multiple different areas, the trees were communicating like it was communicating completely through the field, as if they were all connected. Since they're all connected to Earth, it's as if all of their roots is like a neural network. It's like the tree roots remind me of neural pathways within the brain. Same thing with the branches. But they were communicating and speaking, so it just shows the consciousness. We don't understand the consciousness and the life force that comes from these plants like our ancestors did. The ancestors were much more in touch with, you know, nature and Mother Earth and spirit in general. So, you know, a lot of cosmologies throughout history, all the way back, you know, to the beginning of time. Norse mythology with Yggdrasil, the central tree of the flat Earth. You know, Mount Meru, the magnetic mountain, which was said to be a gigantic tree reaching into the heavens. Many other civilizations, the Aztecs, either Aztecs or Mayans. There's quite a few more. There's at least a handful of 10 or 12 of the main large civilizations from ancient times, and they all believed the earth was flat with the central tree, which is, we're learning now, a lot more of this is more true than we even realize, and we've been lied to and told that we live on this crazy spinning ball spinning through infinite space at all these quadrillions of thousands of miles an hour in each different direction, and just, it's been crazy. It's hidden our divinity from us. I also want to tap into the elemental energies of the trees, and how, the trees represent the earth and air element, very much so. The earth, because it is grounded down deeply into the earth, and the air, as the wind whips and blows through the tree limbs. And I'll be doing another video on elemental spirits and nature spirits in the Devic Kingdom a little bit more in more detail here soon. But yeah, the trees were actually heard of in ancient time as being used to trap spirits. And this is one thing Brother Yusef said that I definitely relate with, because I've been seeing spirits since I was very young. And whenever you go out in the woods, or to like anywhere, especially graveyards that have woods and stuff around them, you can see the spirits plain as day around the woods. Past few summers, our tribe, the coven, has had many experiences when we were going out to our ceremonial circle out around the trees and bushes, and we would see the spirits walking plain as day, as if they were real humans out there walking. So, trees definitely attract spirits and stuff. I come out here a lot with Dead Wave and other ITC devices and stuff, trying to communicate with spirits, and they're not just trying, actually communicating with spirits. And around trees, it's almost like an antenna for spiritual energies, and it definitely magnifies and intensifies the ability to communicate with spirits. Also, you can use tree bark and stuff, and leaves and stuff in Magick. And just to think off the top of my head that I thought of, I've never heard anybody say this one, but this totally makes sense. But like, say if you're doing baneful magic, cursing or something like that, or banishing any type of thing from your life that is negative or not beneficial to your life, you'd use like a weeping willow, because weeping willow, causing that grief, willow, the separation, the moving outward. So yeah, you'd use like weeping willow and some baneful magic or something. Whereas you'd use something like a bonsai tree for like wisdom or something. Okay, remember when we were children, all of us would play in the trees, and we'd talk to the trees, we'd swing around in it, build tree houses. We were much more connected to our spirits when we were much younger, and we've had that indoctrinated and programmed out of us. But I come out here all the time and hug a Shakti. This is Shakti. She gave me that name for herself. I kind of channeled it when I was out here with her, loving on her one day, and I could feel she has a much more feminine spirit within her. She's very motherly energy. And the trees remind me of the cross too. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, the vertical line. Yeah, I think I did actually mention that. And there's actually, a conspiracy going around where a lot of people are believing that all mountains were ancient silica trees, and that's why they look like plant matter inside of the way that the stone within the mountains are patterned, like that honeycomb type of pattern that's in bees' nests, and also kind of like the silica and what's it called? Chlorophyll and stuff on the inside of the plant. When you actually cut a plant open in the stem and stuff, you can see the way that these bubbles and patterns appear. And it's believed that these gigantic silica trees used to exist, and back when giants did roam the earth, that they chopped them down or something for some reason. I'm going to give you guys a very, very magical thing that you can do to help you connect with these trees. first off, if you want to communicate with a tree or connect with it, put your hand on it. I'm sitting down, so I'm not going to jump up right this second, but put your hand on it, communicate with it, ask it if it's okay for you to communicate with it and to work with it. Feel the energy of it. The more that you do this, the more gratitude and love that you give to the tree, the more energy you will be able to feel off of it. I guarantee you, it definitely intensifies over time. But here's a little trick to interface with the tree, to have it directly connected to your energy, almost as if you put your own personal Wi-Fi USB that's connected to your spine and your pineal gland and directly connecting it into the tree, and using the tree as a cell phone tower or a nature cell phone tower or an antenna or a satellite dish to project all of the energy of your spell work or whatever that you're trying to do, energy work or whatever, from the tree. So take you some piezoelectric crystals, anything quartz like citrine, amethyst, of course clear quartz, anything like that, moonstone, any type of quartz that is piezoelectric, because piezoelectric means whenever you put pressure on it, it actually gives an electrical discharge. And so what you're going to do is you're going to bury you a hole down here by the tree. Try not to tear up the roots, but get down like in the crease of the roots, in between a few of them, so you can dig pretty deep. At least that I did about 6 to 8 inches, I believe. Take that, dig it up, and then bury. And actually, before you do bury them, take your crystals and cleanse them with smoke or some ocean water, salt water, just regular water, or cleanse them in some way. Even if you just cleanse them with your energy, hold them in your hand and use visualization to see white light, purifying through them and cleansing them of any negative or non-beneficial energies. And then what you want to do is you want to place them in your predominant hand, so your active hand. Either you're left-handed, hold it in your left hand. If you're right-handed, hold it in your right hand. And push, hold it above your heart and push the intentions that you want into the crystals. So if you wanted this just to be a direct interface with the tree and have that tree as your antenna for magic, put that intention there. Or if you have any specific thing that you're trying to do, like I use citrine for abundance, and bury it at the base of the tree. And if you're using abundance or anything like that, you want to use something like an evergreen. But you can use it, on any tree. But program your intentions into the crystals. Sit there for at least 3 to 5 minutes, breathing slowly, in for hold, out for, and then for hold. So you're breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds, and then holding for 4 seconds. You want to do that cycle for at least 3 minutes. I think they said 2 to 3 minutes. You start to build heart mind cohesion. And so you're connecting the neurons within your brain and your heart. So hold your hand above your heart, project that energy of your intentions into it, and gratitude. That's one of the most important things, is the energy of gratitude as you're doing this breathing. And you put your intentions into the piezoelectric crystal, bury it in the hole. Now cover the hole and allow the pressure of the earth and the pressure of the root systems and stuff like that to push down on that piezoelectric crystal, which is going to allow it to give an electrical discharge. And it is filled with your intentions and your energy that's connected directly to your heart chakra, which is like the motherboard of your energy body, your subtle body. It's that central chakra in the heart. And you program that connection directly into those crystals. So now that tree is like an amplifier of your energies, your intentions. Anytime you do any type of magic, you can come out and connect with that tree. You can either plant the petition, or what I like to do is I like to, after a ritual, I create the petition. I also do it in a magical language, so different letters, not just English, just so that it gets deeper into the subconscious mind. Write it in one of the magical languages. Translate it and write it, and then I burn it and get it down to an ash, and then take the ash, and you can either put it in a hole or come and scatter it at the base of the tree, and that way you're putting more of the energy in there with that. Let's see, I think I've covered just about everything that I wanted to cover on this. Just understand that nature is God, all is self, The universe is mental. You are cells within the mind of the all. You're divine. And so is nature. And guess what? You're nature. Nature is God. It makes you God. Knowledge of self, it's the most important thing that we have in these times when we got this crazy cerveza bug, or the crown virus that we know what's going around. I'm not even going to say the name of it because you'll get your YouTube channel blocked. But yeah, in the time of all this craziness going on in the world, connecting with nature is one of the best things you can do to boost your immune system. The herbs you can use in your apothecary can keep you healthy and even heal you whenever you do get sick. All you need to do is understand plants, start studying plants, get you an apothecary, start growing you some plants indoors and out, grow your own food. This is a great way to connect with nature and with God. Taught you how to bury some money at trees to create some abundance. Taught you how to create a direct interface into the tree. Gave you a brief history lesson on these things. Different type of magic between Kabbalistic and Cliffothic magic that you can perform. We got all the different proofs and scientific studies showing that trees and plants are conscious. They can experience one another. Showing all the different plant medicines that can be used to heal you spiritually, mentally, and physically, emotionally, energetically, quantumly, on so many different aspects. Just come out here, get in nature. Get back into that playful, childlike energy when you used to want to climb trees every time you saw one that was beautiful, that had these gigantically beautiful outstretched limbs. Get back in that tree. Bring out that inner child. The inner child is where your divinity lies. Christ said that you can't make it into the kingdom of the heaven unless you make yourself like a child, back to your innocence, back to your trueness, before the governments and different constituents of man, different communities and religions and political systems, before we all were indoctrinated, back to when we were still children, when everything was beautiful, everything was amazing, there was nothing that wouldn't just astonish us, and we were learning so much. We're getting back into those energies. The age of Aquarius is here. The old ones are awakening. The meek shall inherit the earth. On earth as it is in heaven, as above so below. We will manifest heaven on earth. It's already here. You can see those of us the ones that are experiencing heaven on earth, because we're in a place of peace, divine trust with the universe. And you can see the people that are living in hell on earth, because hell and heaven both exist right here, right now. Not someplace in the afterlife. They're here, this very moment. If you want to tap into those hell energies and be consumed by fear, by the lies and propaganda of the governments of the earth, and you want to allow yourself to destroy your immune system with fear and become sick, then this is showing the separation of the two earths being split. And there's two completely different earths being experienced here on earth right now. There's heaven on earth and hell on earth. Which one will you be? Where will you place your energy? Where attention goes, energy flows. Any place that you place your attention is where your energy is going to flow to. Are you going to let it flow to the fear side and allow your energy to be sucked out of you and drained from you, losing all your energies? Or are you going to be the ones who are constantly in gratitude and in love and in peace, and taking on the energies of the universe, staying full of positive energy, and knowing that you are divine, you are going to be fine. There's nothing to fear about these illnesses. Tap into spirit, stay healthy. Palo d'Arco is a plant medicine that can really help people if they're getting sick right now. Ginger, turmeric, any type of sea moss, spirulina, chlorella, chlorophyll water, many different things that you can use to stay healthy. But just understand that plants in nature, that's where the power is. Let's get out here and do some circles clockwise around the tree to bring in our energy and bring in the abundance and bring in the power. Or if you're actually wanting to remove something, hit that bad boy clockwise. Do some mantras and chants as you walk in circles around the tree. Tap into that subconscious mind. Get your brain waves switching so that you can activate the subconscious and communicate with the subconscious mind. I'll actually be doing a video here very soon about the true methods of programming and tapping into the subconscious mind, which this is how all magic works. All magic. I can show you the best methods that I've found. I've made my own ritual pattern, or what do you call it? My own personal methods that I've taken bits and pieces from many different systems, and I've got one that just works. Every time it works. Like the Magick, when you use these methods to reprogram the subconscious mind, you will see results 1,000%. There's no way around it, because you're tapping into that divine part of the mind, the part that's still connected back with spirit on the other side of source, the other side of Kether, with the Ein Sof and Ein Sof stuff we can't even comprehend with our minds. I'll be doing some videos here coming up on Kabbalah, on the Cliff Off, Magick, honoring the ancestors. Probably do one on my daily routines, a bunch of stuff. I love you guys though. There's gonna be a lot more coming on the channel. I hope you all enjoy it. Mwah. Mwah. I love you all. Oh, I just remembered, I promised I would give you a beat of that drum to give you an idea of how it sounds, the way that the trees were communicating, and see if you recognize this drum beat. I love you guys. Honor, peace, wholeness, balance, respect. See you guys later. Mwah.